Hello and welcome to Rise of the Sith. Today we'll be discussing even more marketing that has come out about Reylo and Kylo Ren and other amazing stuff about Rise of Skywalker. Honestly, it had to come out after we recorded our last episode, didn't it, Denise?
Oh my god, remember I said it's like advent calendar. Every day there's something new, except that some days like today we had a whole lot. I came home, I was like, oh my god, where do I start? It's so much. How are you feeling?
How am I feeling? My brain is spinning with all this new information. How are you feeling?
I was thinking it's like, when you eat a lot, like for Christmas and stuff, and then you see all the dessert that you love and you want to eat it, but you can't, it's too much. I feel it's too much. We're being overfed by Disney. But I think it's not for us. It's for like the general audience as well. And they really want to increase the hype for the Rise of Skywalker and increase the hype for Rey and Kylo, right?
Of course. Let's just say, the difference, from not just the Force Awakens marketing, but even like the early days of the TLJ marketing, where it was just Rey and Luke, Rey and Luke, Rey and Luke, and even like, can you remember? I'm sure everyone remembers, like post the Force Awakens, pre TLJ, how many articles there were about Rey Skywalker, how Rey is gonna be Luke's child or Han and Leia's kid, even though they never recognized her. And, there was not anything about the relationship between the heroine and the villain. And, yeah, even though there were a few, like The Atlantic, it was just, they weren't very nice articles, were they?
It was a mockery of us, right? I mean, I know there's a side of fanfiction. I'm not saying fanfiction is mockery, but they try to portray, because it's about real fans who saw something in the movies and are excited about the movies as well, right? And to say it's all about some dark fanfiction, nothing against dark fanfiction, okay? But that's not what it doesn't represent everything that we are.
No, there's nothing wrong with that, but the fact that these articles just took Reylo fanfiction in general and started comparing it to 50 Shades of Grey and pretty much implied that it wasn't going to be the real story, even though we could see that there was a connection in canon itself. Yeah, it felt very dismissive. It really did.
Yeah, but what a difference. Now we have their official hashtags in a bunch of languages, and all the articles, they kind of hint, wink, wink, at least a little bit about Rey and Kylo having this connection or being attracted, how he's attractive, how, So I think they're really preparing us and the general audience for something hot.
Yeah, I forgot about that. I cannot believe it became a hashtag on Twitter. Like you said, in so many languages. That's just incredible.
Yes, and it means that it's important, right? And you can try with other combinations, and you won't find it. I don't want to dismiss because there are cool relationships as well in these movies, right? But somehow this relationship is central to it. That's what we think. It's central to the Sequel Trilogy, and that's why it has a hashtag.
And it also shows. I mean, let's be honest. Disney is also a business. It also shows that this will sell. So I think they'd be even more inclined to make these fans happy and make Reylo canon. Yes, please, Disney, do you hear me, Mickey Mouse?
I think so. Like Entertainment Weekly just came out with a wonderful article, about Kylo. And I remember telling you, Mary, that they saw, Reylo, Kylo, it sells. Like I'll confess, if we do a video and if we put Reylo, it's going to have a bunch more views than anything else, And I think other people are realizing that it sells. And Disney is a business, so that's very good.
Yeah, and it's just incredible. Even Vanity Fair with those, I know we've mentioned this before, but tomorrow, because we're recording this 2nd of December, tomorrow apparently Vanity Fair is interviewing JJ about Reylo, and they even mentioned Reylo in the title of the article. It's just like, whoa!
So he's gonna tell them about the fan fiction fantasies, right? Because they're the ones. That's a redemption arc, guys. The magazine is getting. I think they're getting a redemption arc. I haven't seen it. It could be. So, what's with these kinky people? I don't know.
but there's not just that. There's also that Rolling Stones interview with Adam, and go on.
Yes, it's amazing, and it's all about character, depth of character, and they really have some really nice photos and images of him, and it's really, he's this star, the hot guy as well, which he is, of course, but they're really milking it, let's say.
Yeah, I it struck me how young he looked in those photographs. He looked like he was in his early 20s, actually, I think. And of course, excuse me, even in the article it mentions how, that Adam plays Kylo younger than he is. And Adam even went to mention that when he first met JJ when TFA was still in pre-production, because we all know JJ wanted him for the role.
Kathleen Kennedy as well.
Yeah, her as well. The first things that they talked about was his character and where his arc would be headed, and he even goes on to mention that he's a young man going on a journey of self-discovery, essentially. And hopefully, Rise of Skywalker is where he'll be. So it's really pushing that Ben-demption, I think, in that interview. Yes. Sadly, Adam can't say a lot, but that's what I think we got.
Yeah, well, we have to go and watch it, right? They can't be spoiling anything, but I think it's a really nice hint.
I also like that the interviewer said that Kylo is petulant, and you can tell how much Adam loves Kylo because he actually rang the interviewer up to object his claim and say no, I don't think he is. So for Adam to do that, he's clearly protective of his character, and I think if Kylo was to have a sad ending or a bad ending, I don't think he would have gone for it.
Yeah, I think it could still be sad, but it not stupid. Okay, it can be sad in a way that's meaningful and emotional and hopeful, because it can still happen, right? But not like stupid, So it needs to be quite powerful and meaningful, and I don't think he would have wanted something boring and stupid, right?
Yeah, I agree. And also, there was that lovely quote on the Esquire video where it said Driver and Ridley were praised for their chemistry and that they became kind of a fan favourite couple, I guess, within the Star Wars fandom. As we can see, it just seems that more and more people, fans, general audiences and writers and everything are becoming more Reylo positive, as each day goes on. It's amazing to see, as we just said.
Because I think that is the story of the sequel trilogy, and it's about their connection, right? And the whole mystery box was a little weird, right? And now they're opening up about it. And if they're opening up about it, you can imagine that they're probably gonna have a kiss or something that's very open. Otherwise, you wouldn't need to do all this preparation. It could be kind of like a little surprise, But they don't want to surprise us in that sense. They want us to go a little prepared.
I think that's personally I think that's the best way after what the marketing for Force Awakens and The Last Jedi did. Yes, people, I don't think I'll ever be over that.
But for The Last Jedi, I understood. You know what they did? I kind of understood. They were like, Rey and Luke, and then they dropped that trailer. And that trailer, it was like, there was that guy with that video, it's like, Reylo, people were going wild about it. And I think it kind of worked for that trailer to be so impactful. They're like, oh my God, Reylo is happening, But at the same time, I agree with you that for people who were already thinking that it was a bunch of nonsense, they had a hard time grasping it. And some people watched TLJ and did not really see it still, so it's so now they have to kind of tell it in the marketing, prepare people, I think.
I mean, even before that TLJ trailer, they abruptly switched the marketing with the Entertainment Weekly. All of a sudden Rian Johnson was talking about Rey and Kylo's connection, so were Daisy and I think Adam as well, and no one had mentioned to people about that, not even at Star Wars Celebration. So I think they realised pretty, at that point that they had to change tactics.
Yeah, but I think it was after the trailer, wasn't it?
No, it was before.
It was before? Yeah. Okay, yeah.
September 2017.
September, yeah. They were doing they did with that stupid Vanity Fair with the fan fiction. What? I hate him. I'm not gonna let it go unless they have to have an interview tomorrow and they have to say, my God, this is such an awesome fandom. They have to really, really make up for it.
Yes, exactly.
Repentance. Even Kylo, like, did the whole video saying what he needs to do to make up for what he's done. I'm fair. People screw up. People need to make up for it.
Yeah. Speaking of Kylo, I think it was it Entertainment Weekly today who released a really nice article about everything you need to know.
Entertainment Weekly. It was amazing about all the extra material that was released, and it's really about why, like his background and why he is going to be redeemed, and all the material that supports it. That it's material that's unfortunately not in canon, but at the same time, you can't put all that backstory in a movie, right? So, but the article is really great and very pro redemption, definitely.
Yeah, and it's like. It's amazing how, I'm sorry I keep saying it, I know I'm repeating it, but it's amazing how, not even pro Reylo, but how pro Kylo it is now. Because I think, excuse me, I've always felt that, especially post TFA, but even a little bit post TLJ as well, that Kylo was always pushed aside. It was always about Rey, it was about Luke, which is fair enough, Luke is the hero of so many people who grew up with him, so of course people were interested in what he'd be in The Last Jedi. But in regards to the new characters, he was always pushed aside when he was the most interesting one, I think.
Yes.
So
it's true.
It's nice to see all this stuff.
It is nice. And there was this choir, right, that I was talking to, that they mentioned Reylo, why? Because of add-on drivers. I forgot what they said. Performance, people got invested and they support like a romantic relationship and they're Reylos. And I thought they mentioned this part of the fandom in a way that's realistic and respectful. It's sad that I need to be surprised that I'm not being mocked, No, but it was very normal, and there's like, oh, but the Reylos actually think they need redemption and stuff. I don't know if you have the quote. Do you have the quote?
I haven't found it. I haven't found it.
Okay. So we don't have the quote. It's too much stuff for recording here. When we record, our computers get really slow and we can't find stuff. Yeah. And we're like, we're overwhelmed. But I read it and it was like that, and I thought it was really cool to be called out really by what we call. It's funny that it's first it was the ship, now it's the fandom. I guess we are Reylos. I think 10 years from now when you talk about Star Wars and the sequel trilogy, I think we're gonna remember us as Reylos. And there were the Rey Walkers as well, but them I don't think people are gonna talk much about.
I've got it. Yeah, I've got it. Reylo has been a huge part of the Star Wars fandom lately. Everyone wants to see the two stars of the new trilogy come together.
Yes, you see, it's a huge part of the Star Wars fandom. It's not those kinky weird girls of the fan fiction. and then later they say, oh, but the Reylos actually want redemption before. So it was very nice to be finally called out in a way that's nice and realistic and respectful.
Yeah,
part of the fandom.
But yes, but also in this article it says, and based on the sequence, it seems like the two potential siblings or cousins are putting their differences aside to destroy an old Sith artifact. Well, no, it's Darth Vader's helmet. Did they
see that?
Yeah, I've got it right here in front of me.
That's ridiculous. It's okay if you think Reylo's not gonna happen. I think it's totally fine. But to think that they're siblings at this point, I mean, seriously.
Well, let's just say that it's good that they're letting all theories. They've got all theories in this article, so that's nice, I guess. If you still believe.
Yeah. I guess it's nice. The Rey Walkers also deserve respect, right? Everybody deserves respect.
Everyone deserves respect.
Right, and the right to express their opinions. I think so, as long as we don't all. I mean, but I don't think we've ever got angry with people talking Raywalkers. We just think it's ridiculous. No, I don't think it's ridiculous. Anyway, in the beginning, I thought it was normal, right? We thought it was normal.
Yeah,
to make those conclusions.
Yeah, the first few weeks after I saw The Force Awakens, even though I shipped Reylo, I was just like, oh, it was like as a non-related thing. I was convinced that she would be Rey Skywalker and Finn would be her boyfriend, and it would be another Jason versus Jaina situation, which I didn't like in the old Legends universe. But then I thought about it more and was like, wait a minute, they're not related. But yeah.
But I think it's okay after The Force Awakens. But after TLJ, especially when Rian Johnson said their hands touching is the closest thing to sex, and Mark Hamill said it's the closest thing to sex, you know, it's after you have these...
the shirtless scene.
You know? Well, the shirtless scene, yeah. But, you know, like, after you have people talking this way about the characters and their relation, I think it's very... I know there was the kiss between Leia and Luke, but it was a kiss and it was to impress Han. It wasn't like something... It was very different, right? So after that, to think that they're still siblings or cousins is very strange. I'm sorry, you have to really close your eyes and not see what's going on.
And also, George Lucas didn't make Leia Luke's sister until he was writing Return of the Jedi, because he wanted to make his own sequel trilogy, which I think, if I remember correctly, would have involved Luke searching for his twin sister, who wasn't Leia. It was a completely different character. But, of course, George Lucas was going through a real big divorce, and I think he lost a lot of money and realised he wouldn't be able to do that trilogy. So he retconned it and made Leia Luke's sister. It was so silly, I'm sorry it was, but...
I thought it worked, because, you see, at the end of The Empire Strikes Back, they have that strong connection, you know? And you see that there is this love between them. So unless they did a threesome at the end, they should, right? But, you know, there was a love triangle there that would have... There was no way to solve it. I think they solved it in a way that was a way that worked. Otherwise, you know, just, I don't know.
Nah, whatever, moving on. But my point is, even if they didn't plan all the characters out in the sequel trilogy, you just know that the one character they did plan out from start to finish was Kylo. So yes. No, they will not be making Rey and Kylo cousins or siblings at all.
No, and there's no evidence, right? No evidence whatsoever. Nobody talks about a lost sister, lost daughter, lost niece. Oh, come on.
No. You even have concept art from pre-production of The Force Awakens based on a romantic picture with Adam Driver and a model. There you go.
I know. Yeah, so it was meant to be like that. It's just that they wanted it to be subtle and different. It worked for a lot of people. It's a pity that a lot of people didn't really see it, and it's a pity that some people actually felt a little cheated, right? That they thought it was going to be Finn. I didn't like that. I thought it wasn't in good taste to bait people for that.
Well,
but it's okay.
Well, rest assured, we will definitely be talking about that in another video.
You want to talk? We're like, I hate it. Yeah. I hate it. Why did they do that? You know, because it's not fair. It's not fair. You know, so that's sometimes I kind of understand. But yeah, but you see, but let me tell you something about the new marketing stuff. One thing that I liked the most was a video that Star Wars posted on Twitter. And it had, I think, images, and then it had the circles of the First Order, and then the kind of the Resistance, and then at the end the two combined, mending together, right, becoming one. And I think it's so obvious, right? And if you look at it's really
it's Rey and Kylo coming together to defeat the big bad.
Yes, in fact, there is in the Chinese. What is that noise?
It's my cat. It's my cat.
Okay, so in the Chinese promotion, there is the what am I saying? They say that they're gonna team up to defeat Palpatine, but we know that it's kind of obvious, I think. But yeah, so there's that. But I think in a way it works. It's symbolic, right? These two coming together and forming one. There's also one thing with two holograms blending together and things like that, which really, really, really talks about two becoming one.
And it says choose your destiny as well, doesn't it? Which, you know, probably is saying Rey and Kylo will choose to come together.
Yeah. And it's about this, yeah, because two people coming together usually means, yeah, you know, it's not about siblings, guys.
No. And if it was about siblings, I think it would go the same way as Jason and Jaina. You know, like the kind of like the Cain and Abel route, where one. I'm so sorry. My cat is coughing. The poor thing.
Oh.
Come and say hello to everyone, cat. He's like, no.
I actually thought that they would be siblings, and I thought it would be something similar that we had, you know, this kind of complicated love-hate relationship. That's what I thought would be.
Yeah.
Because I don't think for Star Wars, like a bad daughter, a bad son that's going to be bad and needs to be killed. I don't think it fits the themes of Star Wars.
No, it doesn't, and that's exactly what my problem with the Jason versus Jaina thing was. You know, when Jason turned bad in a fashion similar to Anakin because he wanted to save the woman he loved and his child, it was just in like every single character apart from Luke thought that he was bad and irredeemable, and they completely cut him out of their lives. Even Han and Leia, which is just it wasn't nice at all. I remember reading it and thinking, this isn't Star Wars, which I'm so glad they retconned in the sequel trilogy, because even though you can tell that Han is a little bit on the fence about it, but you can tell he wants his son back, and you can absolutely tell that Leia completely believes in him, especially in The Force Awakens, that there's still light in him. So, you know, I was so thankful to JJ for doing that. And you know, I'll stop in a minute, but for me, Jason's so-called redemption was so rushed. He kind of like turned good at the last minute to save his girlfriend and his daughter, and it didn't feel earned. So I hope that Ben's redemption will definitely feel earned.
Yeah, I hope so too. Yeah, because it needs to feel earned, right? We want to see it. We want him to turn good, but it needs to be something that's deep and meaningful, and that we believe, yes, it worked. You know, it can't be easy, right?
Yeah, and sorry, one quick last thing I'll say about the difference between Ben and Jason. Even his lover Technol Card didn't believe he'd turn good in the end. I think I can't remember if she believed it at some point, you know, she, and then something happened that changed her mind. But my point is, she didn't believe he'd be redeemed. Whereas Rey, and Daisy Ridley has said it, still believes that there's good in Kylo, and he can be redeemed.
Yeah, that's what makes her a hero, right? Because in a way, that was what made Luke a hero, that he still believed in Vader. And heroes, they do the right thing, even if it's different from what everybody says. But then also in this case, I think Han and Leia, they do want Kylo to go back to the light, right? It was very clear in that Snoke comic when he sees them and stuff.
Oh yeah, definitely. And another thing that's come out is Daisy said in a French interview, oh my god, the European interviews, they were a lot more, you know, and not only were they a lot more enlightening, but it almost seems like the cast and crew are more excited to talk about, you know, they're more open about talking about the relationships as opposed to the American interviews. I don't know why, I don't know whether they feel more comfortable or if there's a bit of a culture difference. You know, maybe people here in Europe are a bit more open to the idea of Reylo and other stuff, but it seems that way. What do you think?
I don't know. I know that the Reylo fandom is very international. We have like half of it only is like American. So, but it's hard to judge based on what we see, right? I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah. Anyway, regardless, Daisy said in a French interview that it's a love-hate relationship and the Death Star fight is a turning point in their relationship. I cannot wait for that. Even though it does look like Rey is attacking Kylo on that Death Star, and he looks unarmed. I think he is unarmed. I think there's going to be so much emotion in that scene where their kind of like turning point changes. That's a turning point for them basically. So I cannot wait to see it.
Yeah, after they let out all that steam and all that anger, she vents and then she's okay to to talk.
Yeah.
It's gonna be really nice.
Anything else you want to add, Denise?
Yeah, the new TV spots. We've seen a lot more Kylo, and Lee wanted to participate, but she she cut her fingers. So she couldn't. But she wanted to mention how Kylo looks really masculine and nice, and they make him look nice. I love they have that scene with him walking with the Knights of Ren.
Me too. I love that scene.
It. In the Force Awakens, there's a shot of him walking in the hallway, and it's my favorite shot in the whole Sequel Trilogy. I don't know why. I know it's weird. It's like
no,
really,
it's not.
really Denise, with all these shots. I don't know. There's just something about it. It's kind of similar, and I love it.
But I'm gonna bet that is like the first scene that Kylo is in, him walking down with the Knights of Ren. That's gonna be so cool. But yeah, I love that shot as well.
Yeah, and it's good to see the Knights of Ren, and it looks cool, and it's just nice, and everything looks really good. So yeah, so it means that they're preparing us for something that's gonna happen, and it's not gonna be subtle, and I don't think they would need that much preparation for something subtle that doesn't have a real kiss.
Speaking of subtle, don't forget that interview where Daisy said that he was scary, coming at her with that hard thing that can do damage. I'm not sure if she realized that she said that, but it's hilarious.
I don't think she did. It's like JJ when they said, for Kylo the hole only gets bigger. Oh, he said it a long time ago. But anyways, people, they have like a pure mind. Come on, we're the ones who. Anyways. Yes. It was funny, and so I think I know some people are worried because of the leaks, and like I said, I do believe a lot of the leaks are real based on marketing, whatever. But the leaks have like a kind of not so great ending. But Adam Driver was handpicked by Kathleen Kennedy. He was JJ's creation, It's their baby, They're not gonna do anything. And like the Mandalorian, we have the child, right? That everybody's crazy about. In the Sequel Trilogy, the child is Ben Solo. Because the child, Sense of the Sun, the child of Han and Leia, he's the child. So,
yeah. You even have JJ saying that he's a huge fan of Adam Driver in general as well. So, I don't think. I hope they don't have a bad ending, but I don't think they will. And I think JJ is aware of this. But let's just say if Kylo dies redeemed, I personally think he'll be too similar to Vader's redemption. And I think personally JJ is eager to not repeat stuff, especially with both people. Both. Star Trek Into Darkness and The Force Awakens. He got criticised for basically copying Wrath of Khan and A New Hope, and so I
But he did. The Force Awakens has all the freaking beats of A New Hope. Not all, but like pretty much 90% of the beats match.
It was understandable why, because he wanted to bring the audience back after a lot of them didn't like the prequels. But yeah, still, and so I hope he's aware of this and he doesn't want to repeat things.
Yeah, I think we need. I think it could be some kind of ending that's slightly bittersweet in a way that's not terrible. You know, like I can't really think of one. The only ending that I think is bittersweet that works is, you know, for Pirates of the Caribbean.
Oh, the third one, yeah.
Yeah, the other ones don't exist. Come on. Yeah. Anyways, but it's beautiful, and although none of them did, but sometimes an ending that's not super nice and fluffy can work. And it could have something that's a little, maybe they have to go away, or I don't know. In the beginning I said I thought it would be cool if he died some time ago, but that would be in a very different trilogy where, you know, there would have been more romance earlier. You know, now the way it is, because I think the family needs to continue, he needs to be alive. So that we know that, you know, kind of like Han and Leia at the end of the old trilogy, so that we know that this family can continue and the saga can continue. I think they mean that the saga ends in the sense that they're going to defeat Palpatine, so that saga is going to be finished. I think that's what they mean.
Yeah, I agree. And we could, anything else?
I think that's it. Let's get excited. Oh, I have a song. It's Reylo is coming tonight. Reylo is coming tonight. So yeah, Reylo is coming, and it's a lot of stuff. We can't even pay attention to everything. Yeah.
Okay, I think hopefully our listeners agree with me that if Reylo becomes canon, you need to release a full song of that, Denise. You'll reach number one on the charts.
No.
Alright, so thank you for listening, everybody. We hope you enjoyed, and hopefully we will be getting a predictions video out in the future, and then we will see the movie. I mean, oh my god, it's like 2 weeks to go now, isn't it?
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
Let's start partying. And if you want, you can subscribe, and you can also follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, iTunes, and SoundCloud. And until next time, and may the Force be with you.